Bruce Thompson for BT Pilates. 7 minutes of exercises for tennis elbow. Before we start, we need to know something about tennis elbow. It's pain here on the outside of the elbow joint. What causes tennis elbow? There are two movements that will tend to cause tennis elbow. Number one, gripping with the fist, and number two, twisting with the wrist. We put these two together, too much or a sudden increase of those, and we'll get the tennis elbow pain. What causes tennis elbow? Whiplash, chronic whiplash with neck pain and nerve impairment down an arm will tend to unbalance the muscles and can lead to tennis elbow. Also, a lack of movement and stability in the shoulder blade can tend to cause tennis elbow as well. Why on earth would a lack of mobility in your shoulder blade cause tennis elbow? I'll show you. Remember I said that it's a grip and a twist of the wrist. Supposing we can do less twist of the wrist and get the shoulder joint to do more twist. That's how a good, strong, mobile shoulder blade will help to minimize the risk of tennis elbow. So there are 6 exercises to do, 2 in tall kneeling, 2 with the help of a towel and table, and 2 with the help of a wall pillar, or in your case you'll probably use the side of a doorway. The first exercises in tall kneeling, I like tall kneeling because it's very postural. It corrects the tightness in front of the hips that we get from sitting all day. Chronic whiplash, we want a nice postural neck mobilization that spreads the load of the movement over the joints all the way from a third of the way up the chest right up to the eye level. And so this is how we do it. A 1, 2, 3 side neck stretch. 1 for the ribs, 2 for the neck, 3 for the ear. And that's a lovely gapping of the side neck joints and a very safe postural stretch for all the whiplash muscles. And again, 1 for the side ribs, 2 for the neck, 3 for the ear. You see that, and then center and lift, and lift. Have we lifted side ribs, side neck and ear? And lift. And you'll see a shoulder lift, but it's the rib lift that I'm most interested in. Over, over. We're looking at about 1 minute of each of these exercises. Everyone's important. There's a reason for them. Do you notice that with this that the breastbone tends to lift and come forward a little? So you look a really nice, attractive, tall and relaxed posture. We're not specifically treating whiplash pain, but you might be pleasantly surprised at what it does for any pain associated with slightly irritated neck side joints. Next exercise is a radial nerve floss and stretch. And I want you to imagine you're a waiter taking a tip. That puts a stretch on the radial nerve, and you may even feel a little stretch through here. And the radial nerve is the most important one to stretch and floss if you've got a tennis elbow. So we, give me a coin. But now we put the neck side bend in. 1, 2, 3, and relax. And 1, 2, 3, and relax. And we can actually do the two together. Up on one side, take your tip, and up on the other side. And this is the mobilize of the nerve, and this is the stretch of the nerve. Stretch and lift, stretch and lift, stretch and lift. It's the 1, 2, 3 lift. 2 exercises using a table edge and a towel for padding. We're using eccentric contraction of the troublesome muscles. The troublesome muscles for tennis elbow are the ECB, which does this movement, extensor carpi radialis. And the other problem muscle is the supinator muscle. Supination is palm in, supination, palm in. And this muscle is in here, and it shortens when palm in. It also presses on the radial nerve, and it's quite common that radial nerve syndrome and tennis elbow go together. So the first exercise, we could do the load and lengthen, eccentric contraction of the ECB through the whole range of movement, but we don't. It's too painful usually. Not that full range of movement, we back it off 1 finger, because we don't want to overload that, and away we go. And away we go. a minute of that. And the way I know whether it's too much loading or too long is that I ask myself, could I do that again tomorrow? And if it's so sore, I say, no way, well, it's too much load. But over time, you see, I'm not going to the full range of movement, and that means it's a little bit less painful. Over time, I might find I can put in 2 fingers and push a bit more, maybe 3, and maybe 4. I'm not at that stage yet. Nearly there. The next exercise is for the supinator muscle. Its muscle fibers run this direction, and they shorten when we supinate with palm in. So we start with the supinator muscle short with a thumb up and a fist. And we encourage it into a longer position so that I can see my pinky finger just here. Thumb up, around we go. Again, I could take it a long way over, but I don't, just to thumb up. We don't want to use the whole range of motion because it's too darn sore. I'm using 2 fingers and I feel like that's a little too much. I might just go to 1 for the moment. There we go. So I've been doing an increase of fist clench and wrist twist with exercises at the gym. And I've done a little too much. And this elbow is sore. So if I back off my exercise at the gym a little bit less clenching and wrist twisting, that's going to help. That is the specific exercise for radial tunnel syndrome. And radial tunnel syndrome and tennis elbow do tend to go together. And it's rather hard to diagnose which is the most important, but I think probably both of them are. 3 exercises using a wall pillar, or you would probably use the side of a doorway or the corner of a wall. The first one is to get the shoulder blade strong and mobile. We're going to use protraction and retraction. Put 1 foot forward, walk like an Egyptian. Curl your fingers onto the wall. I've got thumbs up to start with. So I go forward and bring the shoulder blade into the spine. I push with the front foot, go back. Push with the front foot. Push with the front foot. There we go. Feel the shoulder blade sliding from close to the spine to around the ribs. It's good to look up so that you've got a little lift and forward of the breastbone. Nice posture. And every time I'm here, I push with the front foot to load it on the way down. 30 seconds on one side. Other hand, thumb down. Get the feet comfortable. And shoulder blade close to the spine. And shoulder blade further away. Let's get this done. Always, at this point, push with the front foot, back we go. Push to the front foot. I think you can appreciate there's some interesting rearranging of the wrist twisting muscles as well. The main thing is to get that shoulder blade moving. Here it's retracted, and here the shoulder blade is protracted. If you were to touch your collarbone, you can feel it's really going close to the ribs and now all the way forward. So we're getting more movement into the shoulder girdle, so you don't have to twist the wrist so much. Less likely to hurt your tennis elbow. Other side. Starting with thumb down. Push to the front foot. Away we go. We're just doing a half a minute on each position. The moment I'm thumb down. Interesting is that my tennis elbow has got a very immobile shoulder blade. This is really stretching it out, getting it moving. And we're ready to change to the other arm. With the other arm, it's going to be thumbs up. Just get comfortable with the feet. It'll look like walk like an Egyptian. And push with the front foot into the ground. Back we go. To maintain a nice posture, I will think about being the person in the Heroes of the Revolution poster. A little bit of chest lift, eyes gazing off into the distance, looking good for your photo opportunity. Tennis elbow mobilization with movement. This is an exercise promoted by Mr. Mulligan, New Zealand physiotherapist, Hey, he's one of my countrymen. Yay, New Zealand. I put some padding behind the upper arm bone. And the mobilization is moving the head of the radius laterally towards the wall. Physio would use fingers or a hand. I find a tennis ball is really nice. The movement is just clenching the fist. The mobilization is just pushing with the tennis ball. So let's push with the tennis ball. Clench, 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 clench. We can move that tennis ball up a little, push the wall and down a little bit. The tennis ball is only 1.5 centimeters away from the crease of the elbow. Clench, clench, clench. Tennis ball a little bit higher even. Clench, 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 roll it down a bit. Clench, clench, clench. We can put a little bit of wrist twist in. And all the time we're pushing with the tennis ball. Clench, clench, clench. Some of those positions are a little bit achy. I wouldn't want to do them so hard that I couldn't do them again tomorrow. Third exercise on the wall pillar is massage of the muscles on this hairy side of the forearm. And we're working from about 2.5 to 6 centimeters away from the elbow joint, this area here. There's likely to be a lot of painful knots in here. Clench the fist and be ready to put it into flexion. Elbow at 90 degrees, the ball's just here, and away we go. And take the arm, elbow to nearly straight. You can flex the wrist and clench the fist. And we can do it also with the arm, the elbow straight. And that's the full workout. Bruce Thompson for BT Pilates.